What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Good morning to all my party people in the house. Nice, bright, and early. We got Al. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning. Andrew Utah's in the house. Good morning. We got Bill, Brian, Cindy, David Brooks is in the house. Good morning. We got D. Greg K gonna rock with us. Good morning to Jay, Linda, Joe, JT, Kevin, Marius, Mike S. Good morning to Randy, Wally, all my peeps out there in YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. We got Eric, we got Daniel, all my lurkers in the background just sitting there quietly. That's okay. I still love you. Hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then your phone and technology will keep buzzing at all hours of the night. So make sure you guys do that. But we got Marius in the house. Good morning. Oof. All right, we got the SPY. A little bit of a a terrifying gap down. I'm scared. I'm scared now. Pretty bullish day yesterday. I don't think there's an argument there. Speak now, forever hold your peace. So a little bit of a gap down, not horrific at all, making some kind of retracement make sense. Let's do a 50% retrace on yesterday's candle, just so we can get a little bit of idea of where we think we get this pullback to. What would be a good SPY spot for even people that sat on their hands yesterday or sold at the top and looking for a spot to re-enter? Somewhere down at this 49.35 is at least out 50% retracement. So what I'll do is draw a little line there. And then we got the 618, which is right at 488.85. So let me just draw a quick line there, just so I have those two spots for trading purposes after the bell rings. And those are two decent spots. Right now, at least, looks like all the volume kind of came in right around where VPOC is now. So that's somewhere around this 490.27. If we start to lose that, especially if we start to break this 490.19, we probably don't have much in the way from a much bigger pullback, and then kind of getting into some of those little zones in here. I got a slight volume area where we kind of got this bounce pre-market. So we'll see if any of this wants to hold. I think the direction right now is still bullish, but we got some crazy earnings coming after the bell. So Microsoft is going to be the most notable, and we'll see how this market wants to move after that. We did see SMCI last night report. Pretty fantastic earnings, and we were going over valuations, and the valuation still kind of makes a little bit of sense. So it's not really like a tragically oversold zone, just in terms of potential future growth potential. But we can take this off. Otherwise, I got really no resistance above us, and we are looking for some kind of support if we get some kind of a pullback. Again, market kind of closed at all-time highs. I think we had an intraday tick that was a little bit higher. Other than that, really strong day. Still telling me there's a lot of bullish momentum. Not a huge amount of volume, surprisingly, that came through yesterday. But to the downside, I'm looking for possible re-entry somewhere around 50%, somewhere around the 618. And then I have one more spot for 88.21. So we'll see how that wants to hold as some kind of support. See if we can get any kind of bounces at all. But I do think we're still looking to buy the dip. I still think momentum, everything is bullish. There's not a candle on this chart that tells me otherwise. So that's the direction I'm going to go. At open, though, there might be some short opportunities just as we kind of have to fade back down a little bit more. I think going short on anything is a little tough, but we'll see how this market wants to open. We'll check out the Qs, which SPY closed at all-time highs yesterday. It's not like we haven't done that recently on the Qs, but we didn't get there yesterday. So we didn't quite make it. I actually do like the Qs a little bit better than the SPY, just because the SPY has a little bit more room to fade. My first little, and we probably still pull back a little bit, but my first little support, 426.64. If we start to lose that, we got 425.84. And then after that one, we got 425.14. So we have a few levels of support below us. That is a essentially almost, I think we needed a few more pennies for a full-on bullish engulfing candle over the last 3 days. So that still tells me there's a little bit of hope. I think we have AMD's earnings after hours too. So I think we got AMD. Is that today? AMD. Yep. So today after the bell, so we got AMD. So we're gonna get some insight to some chips, and we got Microsoft today. Interesting. So we're gonna be tech heavy after the bell. Before the bell, so far looks a little bit still bullish, but we'll see. TLT, nice little gap up. This is also a retest gap, so maybe we get this little pullback at open. That would also justify the market kind of coming down and pulling back with it, but this is really still all a retest. If we get, I've got, I don't know if we get there, but 94.73 would be my support there. We could also hit this kind of moving average right there. Also the top of yesterday's price action. So 95.20, maybe we see the close again as a retest, but again, a little pullback on TLT. Otherwise, TLT has a lot of room to go. Targets would be 96.21. Again, this could be a red day today, and then tomorrow we end up breaking through and hitting those numbers. So I do have a little bit of higher target, not a lot of resistance really in the way for any of this. But again, if the market's going to pull back, maybe TLT is on that little retest. I still think we're bullish, even if we do get some kind of pullback this morning. Kind of think we need a little bit. I need a little bit of one. All right, we got some tickers coming in. First, let's take a look at SMCI. Some of the ones we got to zoom out on just to see where this pre-market price is. Again, I honestly, I can make a justification that these are decent prices on SMCI. I just don't want to buy it for the long term here for me personally. But if we get some kind of dip or decent pullback, I mean, this is a ginormous move we've had on super microcomputers, and now every single person at open is profitable. Yesterday, it also ran up into earnings. The earnings were really good. We beat earnings per share by 53 cents. We beat the revenue by 866 million. So pretty solid earnings, but this is a retest gap. Granted, it is over a pretty good pivot. Kind of reminds me of the Netflix gap a little bit. It's a little bit different. It is a little bit different because Netflix, we've been higher, right? But we had a little bit of before the earnings kind of ran up, a little doji. But then we had that pivot there. We opened, we just ran up all day. There's not anything on SMCI that says we can't go higher. In fact, we probably do. The question is, do I want to be the first one at open? I'll see if we get a little pullback, especially knowing that like we got super microcomputers out of the way, but we do have AMD coming in, we do have Nvidia coming in, and some of those guys will weigh heavier on the industry as a whole. But you do have super microcomputers looking pretty bullish. I'd want to see some kind of pullback, some kind of a fade. I do think there is a buy the dip opportunity on super microcomputers. UPS, I didn't see the earnings, but I do see they're gapping down a little bit. So they beat by a penny on earnings per share, but then they lost on $480 million. There was a time, and I think we've disconnected from that time now, but there was a time where these guys will weigh heavily into the markets. Because, yeah, you have consumer sentiment report, and that's great, and a lot of their reports are based on archaic measures to get to the data that they're looking for. And the United States, the United Parcel Service and FedEx will kind of tell us like how many packages are going out, how's the forecast actually looking, how the economy is going to be based on does people actually want to spend and buy things to ship? So this is a little bit worrisome. I would think in the overall market that we are gapping down. I mean, that they are missing. I didn't see what their forecast was, but it is a pretty big move. From yesterday, it's a retest gap. This is a big major pivot that we are kind of crushing below. The one thing I wouldn't mind trying to do here is throwing a fib on this one as well. Let's see where we have a fib. We're at about the 50% retracement, just slightly under it. So we'll have to see at open where this thing wants to open up. I don't really have really good levels here. I'm kind of just flipping a coin. Got underneath that candle. Let me throw this on a weekly chart. We're roughly at that 50% retracement. It's pretty big down candle. The 618 obviously would look a little bit better. We're back into the candle we first broke out of there. Yeah, I don't really have great levels. So therefore I'm going to have to wait on this one to try to catch the bounce. I don't necessarily want to play this fade right away. Gapping underneath that pivot. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. I think if I was to look to play the fade, because I'm a little unsure on this one of what direction I really want to be at open, I think I'd have to wait and see if we get down to this 145.39 and then look. I might as well just be patient, sit on my hands on this. But they are moving. I'm going to move them up higher just so that we can watch them today, wherever they are. And then if they get a little bit closer to that 618, it might be a playable opportunity. Again, they did beat on earnings per share, but that was a pretty drastic miss on revenue. Interesting. We got Square, we got Google. Oh, Google has earnings today too. I'm gonna make some popcorn for today. Today, 4 p.m. Maybe a sympathy for UPS would be FedEx. Yeah, I kind of like that one better. Depends on where this one opens. Otherwise, I like this one a lot better. So a little bit of maybe support coming in at 241.93. Right now we're opening right at that support, and this is a retest gap. So this should, I think, push up higher. And then maybe we actually get that retest first on UPS if they're kind of moving together. If we start opening below 243.44, somewhere in that range. Again, we do have these little tweezers down here, some kind of level of support down here, 241.93. So kind of like UPS, we could go a little bit lower, and then we're gonna hit one more little support. So I'd probably be patient, but I kind of like FedEx to play rather than UPS today. Art says, "Hi Tony. This is Dan, but let's see if I can help you." Hi Tony, I signed up for your option spread selling strategy this morning. Got a receipt for it. Cannot find how to access it. Is that for the options course that I'm doing starting next week, or is this for Tony? Just let me know, and then I could help you out correctly. All right, we got Square. Square is nice little gap up. It's a retest. See if we get a little pullback. I don't know if we cover. I don't know if we're coming back into like the 68.88. So I'm not sure about that. Yeah, Rock says my favorite gap. My favorite gap up on Tesla. Square, pretty nice gap. Let's see if we get a little pullback on this one. Was this news or earnings? As pair of Wall Street analysts, as a pair of who are these people? Why are they so powerful? I'll tell you really where they turn bullish. I'm gonna tell you exactly where they turn bullish. They turn bullish about here, but the article just came out here. Just it was very tough to get an interview with them. I love these upgrades. I pretty strong move the last 2 days. Let's see if we get a tiny little pullback. Again, this maybe we come down to there. I don't know if I'd want to even see it down there, to be honest. Small little pullback. I think this is a good candidate for a high wave out of the gate. A little bit of a high wave indecision, and then look for a break. We do have a lot of room on this one to move higher. So targets to the higher side on this would be probably 73. All right, Art. I'll yeah, okay. So so you purchased the course that he taught. Got you. Let me write this down real quick, and then after I hop off the mic, I'll take a look for you. You should have a course automatically on your dashboard for it though. Just check on that arts credit spread. But I'll take a look for you, and then after I hop off, and then I'll make sure that's on your dashboard for you, just in case it didn't auto load. It should have though. All right. But yeah, beautiful. Looks good on Square. See if we get a high wave out of the gate. Yeah, not a problem, Mark. All right, let's see. We got Google. We'll take a look at that before earnings come out today. We'll take a look at the Goog instead of the Google. The Google. 52-week highs. Man, these earnings better be good today. These earnings on everything better be good today. Like outstanding. We're hitting 52-week highs. We're hitting all-time highs. Running into some earnings. Whoever says they're feeling comfortable going into earnings is lying to you. They're liars. A little bit of a pullback again, almost 50% of yesterday's candle. Everything still looks bullish today. Keep in mind, obviously, the earnings are tonight, and not that we can't trade them, but they do trade a little differently sometimes, especially later in the day. So you might get some early morning push on some of these things, but then a lot of times you get some chop city, especially the closer and closer you get into that report coming out, because I think there is some nervous people at all-time highs. I wish it was safe to say everybody had diamond hands. So far, not. We got Coin, we got Mara, we got Nike. Coin. What did Bitcoin do? I think Bitcoin was up yesterday, and I did have in the afternoon. I call it the afternoon because it is the afternoon for me, but it's not technically the afternoon room, so I don't know what to call it. But we were having price targets a little bit higher. Yeah, somewhere right into the zone. And then next stop, 45,000. But that was a good push yesterday. Looks like we're bull trapping a little bit. Trend is still bullish. I still want to remain bullish on Bitcoin. So that could help Coinbase out and Mara when we look at it. Otherwise, it's still inside day. So I wouldn't be the first one to buy it. Let's see if this thing comes back a little bit into like 132.93. That would be yesterday's VPOC, but that would be a good level to look to buy off of. Maybe we don't get down there. If we don't, it's going to be 133.58, but very close to it. See, again, another decent area for the high wave. I would look for more continuous bullish momentum out of this one. Targets on this one is 141.14, so it's got a lot of room on it. I think I have it pretty high on my list already. Yep. So it's already pretty high on the list, but I do have a lot of room bullish. Just don't want to be the first one. See, I want to see if we get a little pullback on this one, so a little patience, and then I do want to continue bullish on Coinbase. Mara probably about the same analysis. They do move very similar. The one difference, obviously, is Mara does have a much higher short float than Coinbase does, so keep that in mind. Any of the pushes that really start going crazy will probably be Mara over Coinbase. This one has a little bit of resistance right above it though. So 1912. That we've already hit yesterday. So that is a candidate to break that zone. Second time's a charm. After that, I got the next level, which is a very weak one, but $20.03. And then probably $21.92. And then really I'll be looking for like $22. So anywhere in this $21.90 to $22, I think would be your target if things really want to get crazy. 50% retracement somewhere probably at this one, which is this almost $22, so $21.90. But that's how to be looking. Even if, and we probably do come down one more time. I'm not saying this thing stays up forever, but this is probably some kind of a 3, I would imagine. This is 4 or 5. This is, I think, at 1. I think we do something like this, get into this range, we come back down, probably end up fading again, something like this, and then if it's probably ready to go again. But there's still a lot of room left on this one for this just kind of retracement. So maybe look for like a 2R trade, depending on how tight your setup is, your risk to reward. But yeah, I still want to remain a little bit more to the bullish side on it. This is also a pretty good pullback too. And obviously, this is all like that analysis depends on Bitcoin a lot, right? If Bitcoin just breaks out and starts screaming, this is going to go with it. And then this is a nice little pullback on crypto. I mean, we're down about 40% from the highs. So that was already a nice pullback into some kind of support. And then I'd probably want to remain bullish. I would take some shares. If you're swing trading, I would probably take some shares off at around $22 and then see if you get a little bit higher, maybe another spot to take 28 and see if you get one more break on this thing. But it looks good. It's going to need Bitcoin to cooperate. But yeah, both of them I'd still want to be bullish, see if we get some kind of pullback somewhere close to earnings. Do I think the JOLTS job number at 10 a.m. will have any effect on the market? I do. Yeah. I do. I believe we have Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow. I think that's going to be the heavier weight event for the week, besides obviously all the earnings and things like that. I do think the jobs number will have some kind of effect, decent move on the markets. We probably want that number to be I would think if we have a little do we want to come in hot on that number? I think we're gonna see, because I'm just basing it off the last time we had some kind of jobs. I think the market wants to see a little bit more layoffs. I think that would help promote the story that we're getting the rate cuts a little bit sooner and maybe more often. If the job market is strong still, I think we'll probably see at least a quick pullback. I don't know that it's going to be a lasting event all day, because we do have a lot of earnings coming up tonight and then for the rest of this week. So there's still people that probably want to position themselves into some of those earnings, and that might help boost it. But I think we'll get definitely some kind of initial reaction off of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. Nike looks good for continuation. We do have a moving average right here in front of us. And 105.01 would probably be my target if we get this breakout. So right now we're at 103.88. I'm going to move Nike up. Again, more continuation play, but we have not come back down to retest yesterday's VPOC. We are opening at a moving average. This one I'd probably see if we can get at least a little pullback into like 103.48. Somewhere in that zone. And then a better location would obviously be is 102.78. But maybe we need something like the JOLTS numbers to come in and market absolutely crush the market, and then I think we get there. Otherwise, we're probably looking for a little bit higher entry, 103.48. But if you're extra patient, you're like, I have zero fear of missing anything. You have time to wait and see if it comes down a little bit lower. Otherwise, that's good. Just add a little resistance at open. Since it says the Fed is talking today, I think Jerome Powell is tomorrow. We might have some Fed speakers, but I don't think Jerome's out there today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they changed it. All right, we got DraftKings. Yep, looking good for continuous. $40 big psychological whole number. We struggled with that a little bit. Otherwise, very, very strong close. We did pretty much bullish engulfing candle everything from the last 3 days of just some sideways chop. So we have good consolidation. We have a good breakout. Maybe we had open, we get a little pullback, look for like 39.79. See if that spot wants to hold. But DraftKings, yeah, looking for that breakout. Let me see if we have some volume longer term. So far, I got nothing up here. We got to switch this over to a weekly. And I got no volume bars because it hasn't been out long enough for the weekly. So right now I've got nothing really on the charts to stop us. I do have a rando green line, so if you guys want to use that, 49.42, I don't think that happens today. That would be almost a 25% move, which would be fantastic. But right here looks like a really, really nice open. We did trade successfully DraftKings yesterday. The crazy thing is, so I'm up a decent amount for the month. So if you guys notice, my trading it changes based on the almost seasonality of profit and loss. So I've been getting a little more aggressive moving stops. You guys, I mean, if you guys are following my trades, doing anything, trade it your own way. But I'm just trying to lock some gains. But I think we had a target originally for DraftKings for 3Rs. And there was one other one. I forget. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was Microsoft. Both of them would have hit 3Rs yesterday. And one of them I took for like half-R win on a pullback. Or Riot, I think it was. I think it was Riot. And then DraftKings, I think we got a 1.2 on. And we could have just entered the trade, did nothing, and both of those would have hit targets. So, darned if you do, darned if you don't. But you gotta play the books. So we got SMCI at $55. Yep, that is a massive move. Just be careful. It's a really good gap. Be careful on it. See if you get some kind of pullback. And I still like it strong. The short side of shorting anything at all in this market is really tough, especially chips though. Tesla. We're in the I think this one probably fades at open. They had a report that came out that said that auto sales are growing. The regular auto industry is growing about 8%. EVs are growing about 23 and change, so 24%, we'll say. So really good catalyst for anything, probably EV. I wouldn't be surprised if Rivian gets a little bouncier today too. But pretty good breakout. Again, I'd want to see a little pullback. I'm playing more this candle than I am this one. So I don't know how big this pullback comes in. I don't know if we come in to retest this 190.94. That'd be a really nice spot to look. Even like 189.75, something like that. But we're now breaking out of this candle, trapping any shorts from the earnings. This thing was a big dumpster fire as of 2 days ago. Everybody starts going bearish. The fundamentals not really there, but you have a growing EV industry coming out with that catalyst. You got some cyborgs. You got R2D2 coming out soon from Tesla. So there's still a story. And this is a good volume candle to break out of. I will be watching this one long. I'm going to actually scoot this one much, much higher on the list. See if we can take any play on this one. I've got a mini resistance, probably about 197.76. Another mini one somewhere around 201.52, but a big gap fill up to 208.72. So there's a lot of movement on this one. I'd want to see some kind of a small dip, pullback, nothing crazy, but at open, that's probably a buyable dip. And then I'd look to probably take this one higher. This is our third day in a row trending bullish in terms of VPOX, and that is a big candle for us to take out. So probably one of my favorite gaps. Also, I really like that DraftKings for continuation too. So out of the two of those, probably my most favorites. Coinbase is on the list too. Got a rank in my top three today as well. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. We did see Square moving. Is PayPal any sympathy on it? No, PayPal the opposite. So no love for the PayPal. It's okay. You'll get there one day. I believe in you. I'm loving Rock's favorites. Lucian said Fed tomorrow, 2 and 2:30. So yeah, we probably have the interest rate, the report at 2, and then probably Jerome Powell at 2:30 tomorrow. So Lucian confirmed it. But everybody out there on YouTube, unfortunately, the bell's about to ring. You guys are incredible. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It sounds like that one. It sounds like that bell.